Welcome back to the IBSP. Here's your host, Boxing New.
Canelo Alvarez, Edgar Berlanga, pay-per-view flopping. Look, let's break it down honestly and objectively as possible. And Canelo Alvarez, Edgar Berlanga, pay-per-view price point is at $89.99, and that's an extreme price for a fight that people weren't asking for. People didn't ask to see Canelo Alvarez versus Edgar Berlanga. People were not calling for this fight. People were not begging for this fight. So we know that Canelo Alvarez is going to have to carry this fight all alone. He's going to have to carry it because Edgar Berlanga is not a Miguel Cotto. He's not one of those type of guys that can pull his own weight and make this an interesting pay-per-view. That's not what this is. We know it's a one-sided fight. We know Canelo Alvarez is levels above this guy, and we understand that paying $89.99 is an extreme price to watch Edgar Berlanga on pay-per-view. So we know that Canelo Alvarez is the only draw and the only reason why anybody's going to watch the fight. With all of that being said, Canelo Alvarez pay-per-view buy numbers will take a dip. Look at his last pay-per-view with Jaime Munguia. When he fought Jaime Munguia, he did between 520,000 buys and 550,000 buys, which is excellent numbers for the face of boxing, excellent numbers for Canelo Alvarez. But now, because he's fighting Edgar Berlanga in a fight that the public didn't ask for, a fight that the public said they did not want to see, this is a fight that people said they did not want, and they were very clear about that. His pay-per-view buy numbers will take a hit. I think Canelo Alvarez will do between 325,000 buys and 375,000 buys. That's just my guesstimate looking at his prior pay-per-view numbers and looking at Edgar Berlanga. If Canelo Alvarez goes past these numbers, then that really just shows you how big of a superstar Canelo Alvarez is. But these numbers for Canelo would be considered a flop because these pay-per-view buy numbers is basically Tank's best numbers alone. See, at the end of the day, we know Tank Davis in his last pay-per-view buy with Frank Martin, he did between 220,000 buys and 325,000 buys. So Canelo Alvarez dropping between the Tank Davis range is a flop for Canelo Alvarez. And at the end of the day, you know, Canelo Alvarez, Edgar Berlanga, that price point is ridiculous. I mean, if you're going to give us a fight that we didn't ask for, if you're going to give us a fight that we didn't want, if you're going to give us a fight that we know is a mismatch, if you're going to bring this fight to us, it does not need to be at $89.99. You should have cut this price point in half, and you probably would have got more buys, and you could have made up the money in volume rather than just massive price gouging. Look, at the end of the day, you know, Canelo Alvarez is going to whoop his ass. We already know how the fight's going to end, but the issue that we have here is overpaying for the fight. Now, me personally, I've been on record saying I'm not going to pay for the fight, but that's cap. I'm going to end up paying for the fight. I'm going to watch the fight. I'm not some cheap asshole who refuses to pay for the fight and stream it. I'm not going to be that guy. I'm going to pay for the fight, and whether I like the fight or not, I'm going to give back to boxing because I'm an actual boxing fan.